Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Sweet. Should we see why? Is there any way we can find out why people can't get in? Is there anyone in a
So
waiting
what
list?
it's telling them is they have to be registered. And I think what that means is if you don't use the same email that you signed up for your free account and you're using another one, you can't get in because you're registering for this Zoom and it has to be that same email. And it has to be a Zoom account. But there's a lot of people who can't get in. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to recreate the Zoom link or something, but I'll figure it out. I'll call Zoom tomorrow.
Okay. I just made a post on Facebook. I don't know. Maybe that helps.
Yeah, I'll post the live YouTube too as well.
Okay. Deidre says signing in with Google will bypass it.
Dylan, maybe you say it out loud right here, and then I'm gonna, so that people can rewatch us and know how to get on this.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If anyone has trouble getting into the Zooms, it looks like maybe you have to sign in with Google to bypass it, or you have to make sure if you registered through Circle with a specific email, your Zoom account has to be also registered with that same Zoom, that same email. So yeah, Susan also had to use Google to sign in. Okay. Good
Yes.
to know. I also know Zoom is having a hard time getting their employees to come into the office, I guess, too. So ever since COVID, a lot of Zoom employees still don't go to the office, which is funny. So sweet. Well, yeah, we'll get started. We got 36 people in, so that's a decent turnout. Usually we're in the 50s, I would say. So I think some more people will join in. Hey, Sheila. Hey, guys. So yeah, thanks for showing up. We are just doing a Q&A today. So our Tuesday Zooms, we do Zooms twice a week. Tuesdays at 4 p.m. That's today, Mountain Time. That's just a general Q&A. So if you guys have questions, deals you're working on, you're not sure how to pick your market, how to call agents, what scripts to use, how to underwrite an offer, all of that good stuff, feel free just to raise your hand and we will pick on you and answer your question in as much detail as we possibly can. So first of all, I'd like to just check in with the people that could make it today. Yeah, this is the Elephant Challenge. Thank you guys for showing up. If you're new to the Elephant Challenge, the point of this is essentially to help people new to real estate or wanting to get into the investing aspect, give them a path on how to get started. So whether you're brand new, you're an agent, you've bought multifamily, single family, but you're not sure how to get started with the creative side of it, that is what we're here to do. We're here to help you. The Elephant Challenge was named brilliantly. Real estate is very similar to eating an elephant. It's this big, massive thing. There's thousands of niches that you can get into to make money. The only way to get started is just same way you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. So super glad to have you guys. If this is your first time in a Herd of Profits, that's our group. If this is your first time in a Herd of Profits Zoom, if you could type 1 in the chat for me. And if you've been to our Zooms multiple times, type 2 in the chat for me. A lot of 2s. Love it. Yep, we got our OGs. A lot of 2s. Do we have any newbies? Anybody? This is your first time? Type 1. All right, Tara. Thank you for shouting yourself out. So yeah, Bonnie, nice to have you. Brandon, nice to have you.
Dylan,
Abraham.
when you say sign in with Google, like what does that mean?
Yeah, so when it gives you CC, nice to have you. So if it gives you the opportunity to sign in, there should be another part somewhere on your screen that says or sign in with Google. So you can click that and sign in with Google.
Okay.
Yep.
And let's give them the news about Friday, what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I will get to that. So yeah, so our team is made up of me, Angie Milanazzo, Joey Milanazzo, Dominic Milanazzo, and then we also have the rest of our team, Rachel Swartz. I don't know if she's in here or if she can make it. She is our back end office lady. So anytime you guys want to reach out to us, she's actually the person you want to contact, because then she'll point you in the right direction to get in touch with us. So yeah, let me get started with just some of the benefits of working with our group. So we have our very own Facebook group. It is called Herd of Profits. So our Facebook group is made up of 1,300 members and growing. I just dropped the link to join that Facebook in the chat. Some of the benefits of being a part of our Facebook is that, one, we're a tight-knit community, so we're not 100,000 strong. So your messages, if you ever need help or you post a question on our Facebook group, it's most likely it will get answered. It's not going to get lost in the algorithm. And then alongside that, I would say we probably have one of the best resources or files that you guys can download. So if you come over to our Facebook group, go to the files tab, we have some really cool tools for you guys. So first one would be our purchase and sale agreement. So we have a contract drafted by Pace Morby's attorney. This is a cash wholesale contract that we're allowed to share. So yeah, you guys are more than welcome to join our group and download that contract and submit offers that way. We also have a seller finance frequently asked question. This is good for you guys to understand how seller finance works, and then also to send this off if you're sending seller finance offers to educate your sellers and your agents on how seller finance works. Some more common questions and concerns about selling on terms. This is a seller net sheet. So let me bring one up, for example. A seller net sheet is a great tool. We use this with almost every single offer that we send out. And it is solely, where is it? Seller net sheet. This is essentially, it's a side-by-side comparison, right? So list your property on market, and it gives them a net equity number. So this is great for sellers that have little to no equity, and we want to buy their home subject to the existing mortgage. So anytime we see someone has low equity, we increase the number they walk away with and send them this. So it's just a side-by-side comparison. Hey, you'll make 16 grand on market. You'll make 17 or 18 or $25,000 by selling it to our company. So that's the seller net sheet. You guys are more than welcome to download that. We've also walked how to fill that document out in some of our old Zooms, which I'll show you guys how to find in just a second. We have a subject to frequently asked questions. So if you guys are new to subject to, that's a very good document for you guys to look at and also send off with offers. We have a script to call agents for on-market properties to get creative finance deals. We have a foreclosure process. This deal or no deal is an underwriting calculator. So you guys can download this, play around with it, and it will help you underwrite rental properties. And then we also have these LOIs. So LOI stands for letter of intent. We have a seller finance, a hybrid, and a subject to letter of intent. These are essentially 2-page documents that spell out the terms of a seller finance, hybrid, or subject to transaction. They're a lot easier to understand, a lot better for sellers to look at and understand what we're offering. So this is how we actually send offers. We don't fill contracts out. We send them letters of intent. Once they're interested, then we'll send them a full contract. And then finally, we also have our buy box. So we buy properties across the country. This is our buy box, what we're looking for. And then an estimating repair cost PDF. So if you're out there trying to pick up a fix and flip, wholesale, a fix and flip, definitely download and study this estimating repair cost PDF. So, what's up, Chris? What's up, Mike? Yeah, thank you guys. So, yeah, so again, I dropped the link to join our Facebook group. It's only $1,000 a month to be a part of the Facebook group. So hopefully you guys can afford that. Just kidding. It is totally free. So if you guys can afford $0 a month, then you should have no problem joining the Facebook, totally free. So make sure you guys jump in there. We'd love to have you a part of our group. Yeah, not $1,000 a month. That was a joke. So you guys should be able to afford it. It's totally free. So that's our Facebook group. Please join that. And then we also have a YouTube channel / Angie Milanazzo. So if you guys want to see some of the old Zooms that we have recorded where we filled out seller net sheets, we've sourced and found deals, we've underwrote deals, we've marketed, all that good stuff, come to Angie's YouTube channel. We just passed 1,100 subscribers and on the road to 2K. I just dropped the link to that in the chat. So if you guys could please come check out Angie's YouTube and subscribe. Again, that is also free, no cost to you. Freezing your budget. Good, Mike. Good. Well, you're in the right space. So yeah, we have 2 people watching right now on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? What's up, 2 people? Again, we have Q&As. So our last Zoom, actually, this was not a Q&A. This is where we found a subject to deal. We called the agent and we underwrote and sent an offer. So this is a really good Zoom. We've done that quite a few times in our Zoom. So come check out Angie's YouTube and subscribe, please. So that's just some of the benefits. Mike's already subscribed. Appreciate it, Mike. So that's just some of the benefits of working with us. You know, we are also leaders in the sub-2 group. We are mastermind students. We're very close with Pace and their whole team. We've actually bought and closed a deal with Pace in Texas. He was our loan sponsor. So he sponsored a loan for us in Texas. So we JV'd with him. And then, yeah, Angie and Dom were talking to him today about joint venturing on a flip here in Denver. So Liliana says, how do we get an avatar? It's one of the questions for your Facebook group. Great question, Liliana. Let me answer that in just a second, but that is a great question. Cool. So that is, oh, it says allow recording. Okay, sweet. So yeah, I'll give you guys just a little bit of more information about who we are. So me and Joey handle the majority of the leads that come in. So we tend to do most of the closing. We walk sellers and agents through contracts. We handle objections. We answer questions. We also tend to do a lot of the disposition. So anytime we get a property under contract, we work with our buyers in our network to go ahead and assign those properties and get them to the closing table. Angie is the head honcho. She oversees our day-to-day operations, makes sure she's working more on the business. And Dom is, I would say, does a lot of the same stuff, handles our traditional side of our business, but is more of our ideas guy. Again, works on the business from an outside perspective too. So yeah, and Pansy answered your question too, Liliana. Pace has some very good videos about how to pick your avatar, but I think that's a good first question we can jump into. Wanted to touch on our Zoom. Okay, now we got 57 people in here. That's a better turnout. So sweet. Someone's calling me. Okay, so
Your Google message worked.
oh, it did. Okay, perfect.
Must have.
Figured it out. Love it. Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to kind of prep you guys for next Friday. So next Friday, what we want to do is we want to get started early. We will have a list of low equity, just essentially we're going to have a list of hot leads ready for you guys. We want to sort of do a live call agent outreach challenge. So we're going to provide a list to everybody that shows up on Friday and let you guys have at it. So we're going to give everybody the list. You guys will all start calling, and then whoever gets their call answered first will raise their hand. We'll mute everybody else and let you walk or talk to that agent live in front of everybody. We'll give you feedback, and then we'll try to see if we can't get a deal under contract from Friday to next Friday. So I think we might do that every other Friday, maybe change up our Tuesday Zooms, but yeah, it'll be really cool. Some live calls. We'll have some people, get their first properties under contract, hopefully. So Dylan Pickles, let's go. That's only my grandma can call me that. Just kidding. So, but yeah, hopefully if you guys can show up next Friday, that will be a huge Zoom, super exciting. You guys will listen to other people make calls. We're going to try to close the deal live, get it under contract at least. So they can, yeah, you can be the buyer. Absolutely, man. Yeah. We also have a buyer's list too. So, last thing before we start answering questions, I know I'm giving you guys a lot of info. We also have a JV form. So if you're somewhat new to real estate, you're not sure how to get started, maybe you've made some calls, sent some offers, drove for dollars, all that good stuff. If you come to our discussions, we actually have a form that you can send a lead to us. So if you have a lead, maybe you don't know how to send the offer, maybe you don't know how to underwrite it, comp it, or maybe you have it under contract, you need earnest money, you need help finding a buyer, wherever you're at in your journey, we have a form. So if you come over to the featured tab, we have a new lead form. So go ahead and submit that lead. One of the people on my team will be in touch with you. They will look at the leads, see where you're stuck. They'll reach out to your agent, help send an offer, all that good stuff. You will be notified and kept on file with that lead. So if it ever moves to a different status, like we sent an offer, you'll get notified. Anytime we leave a note, like, agent's on vacation, call back in a week, you'll get that note. And then if that deal closes, you will get paid for submitting that lead. So it's really just our way of giving back. It's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? So we want to help you guys get leads, and we want you to send us the leads you need help with. So that's this Friday, Sean. So upcoming. That's the 17th, I think. 18th, I think. I don't know. But yeah, so anything we prefer creative deals, but if you have a cash deal you're working on, we'll take a look at it. We'll try to give you our best effort to get that to the closing table. So yeah, we have a whole system in place. We follow up. We have automatic follow-ups. We have a whole team built out to make sure that we're not leaving leads behind. So all that good stuff. So yeah, if you guys want to submit a lead, that is right here, new lead forms, or you can hit featured, scroll down some, and that's right here as well too. So we have a direct to seller and a direct to agent lead form. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I will prioritize people that have their hand raised. So if you guys go down to reactions, in the bottom of your Zoom, on the bottom of your screen, you can see there's a button that says raise hand. So if you have your camera on, you got a beautiful smile like Chris, and you got your hand raised, we will click on you first. But yeah, if you don't want to do that, you want to post it in the chat, that's fine too, but we might miss your question, just a heads up. So yeah, let's jump to Chris. What do you got for us, brother?
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Okay, so I was hoping you could walk me through a wrap deal, and I found a deal from a wholesaler in sub 2, and I think it could work as a wrap. So just kind of like what that would look like and how to like kind of tackle that. I have an agent that I think can get me a buyer for it too. So just kind of, I don't know what you're focused on. Hopefully that's okay for this discussion.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's a perfect fit for this one. Do you want to share the address? If not, that's totally cool.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's locked up anyway, so.
Yeah. Give me one sec. You want just the address, or do you want the whole?
Yeah, if you have like the whole,
Okay.
how they advertised it.
Send it to Dylan in a chat message.
Yeah, direct.
There you go. Okay, perfect.
It's
So yeah,
from Jeremy, right?
Jeremy
You can't
Kempter?
say it out loud, or YouTube will, no, you can say that, the address, because YouTube will take this off.
Gotcha. Sorry. I don't know rules. I'm bad at rules.
No worries. I learned that when my video was deleted.
Oh, we can't say addresses?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So this is in Salt Lake. No, you're in Idaho.
Yeah.
Okay. So no worries. Now let's take a look at the loan information. And then if you could break down sort of the numbers that this wholesaler is advertising it for.
Yes, I'm gonna send that to you right now.
Okay. This one was 401.
It also was a little different because it was a condo, which I've never really looked at before.
Yeah. Yeah. Condos can be a little bit more tricky. See if we can type it. There we go. Okay. Okay. Yep. Looks like a good low equity. Okay. So entry fee, down payment, includes assignment, $54,000. Okay. So right off the bat, Chris, right? So your entry is, call it 10%, right?
Yep.
So the Zestimate's 531. That could be off, right? But they were, let's see, they were listed and they failed at 537. So
Mhm.
they're likely close. And the reason they failed, they couldn't price drop, right, is because we can see they owe 490. So they just can't price drop anymore, else they'd seriously lose a lot of money if they were to get their asking price. So sorry guys, my allergies are going crazy. Okay, but yeah, so this is right. So mortgage balance 491, that's very close to what we see. PITI 273880, HOA 700. Is that included in the monthly?
I don't think so. I think that's on top, which I know that's a big hit to the monthly cost.
Yeah, absolutely. So your PITI, so that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So we can see, right, says their interest rate's 3.8. So it's slightly higher than what PropStream assumed, but yeah, their principal and interest payments, 22, 27, taxes are, middle, probably $200 a month, insurance probably right around the same. So, and yeah, did they send you a mortgage statement for this, Chris?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. So definitely want to see the mortgage statement before anything. Before you make a decision, you need to see that mortgage statement. I would also ask them to see their purchase contract too. Yeah. Was this Jeremy Kempter? Do you know? Is that his name?
No.
Jeremy Demers?
Davis.
Jeremy Davis. Okay. Sounds familiar. But yeah, definitely ask to see their contract, which you need to see, because if you're being assigned the contract, you have to abide by the exact rules and terms in that contract. So you need to know essentially what you're signing. Okay, but this is good. No balloon. So this is set up for a wrap for sure, right? It probably doesn't cash flow. This is a non-cash flowing deal, best for a wrap. My initial thought is right off the bat, right? $2,700 a month for a condo. I don't know much about Salt Lake. But right off the bat, right? So if you're going to wrap this property, it's, we've wrapped several properties. We've found buyers for some as fast as 2 weeks. Some we've had sit for 4 months, and you want to err on the side of caution. So if you're sitting on this for 4 months, right, you're paying not only $2,738 plus $700 a month for the HOA. That's $3,400 times 4. That's another $13,752 in expenses, if this thing does sit for that long. And then, again, condo. So we're targeting penalty box buyers. That means buyers that they've been denied from a traditional loan because they're business owners, they're 1099s, maybe their credit sucks, their job history is not the best. They might not have social security numbers, whatever reason they're getting denied by a bank. So the majority of those people tend to be families. They want yards. So I would say like single family is your ideal for wraps. Because you're just limiting yourself on,
Yeah.
you know, your potential buyers. So for me, I mean, it could definitely be a good deal, but your payment's already $3,400 for you to make, let's say $500 a month. That means they're going to need to be up at the 4,000 range for
which is
a
fine.
3-bed, 2-bath. I just don't know if that's super feasible, you know?
Yeah, I know it's downtown, like it's a nice like luxury like apartment.
Okay.
But yeah, I wasn't quite sure if it would work or not. So
Yeah. To be honest, man, I got some better deals. Like we just got one in Killeen, Texas. You know, if your plan is to wrap, that would almost be a better deal for you because your payment's only $1,500 a month, and it's a single family, big backyard, 4-bedroom house. You know, lower interest rate. So I would say, yeah, you want to probably start with something on the lower end before you jump to something with this high of a payment.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. For sure.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, we could go into the numbers of underwriting it, but yeah, I would say would this be your first one? Have you bought a couple creative finance deals yet, Chris?
No, not yet. I'm waiting. I'm trying to stick with Salt Lake and Phoenix. I know there's so many Texas. I'm like, man, I might just need to jump over to Texas, but
Yeah. No, and I mean
Florida.
it's good to stick to your areas too that you know, right? Like, but Texas by far, I would say, is probably one of the best states if you want to do wraps because you have a huge immigrant population, huge Spanish speaking population. So you know, a lot of those people love to buy properties dueño a dueño, which stands for owner to owner. You know, they really
Right.
understand seller finance. They have big down payments. They're great at saving money. They can afford monthly payments. And the cheaper too, this is another thing, Chris, the cheaper you go, right? Like, let's say you wanted to buy a $50,000 home for your first wrap. You can wrap that at 15% interest because their payment's still super affordable. Their payment's going to be no more than $750 a month. Very affordable. Now, not only can you wrap it at 15% interest, but then you can turn around and sell that note. So let's say your note's 50,000, 15% interest. You could sell that for $30,000, $40,000 cash, move on, go buy your next one. So the wraps are best set for your cheaper homes. I wouldn't go over 400,000 on a wrap, to be honest.
Okay, cool.
So, yep. Sweet, man. Yeah, if you're interested in that Killeen, Texas one, I'll show that. I'll show that one here in a second, actually, too. Let me jump over. Mr. Abraham, you got a question?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Awesome, man. So appreciate you doing this. New to Sub 2 at the Elephant Challenge. First time on the call. So super grateful. So I'm down in Florida. I'm in Broward County, just outside of Miami. And two questions, really. One is, basically my wife and I, we're looking for a flip. It's our first flip. We want something kind of local. Everything we're finding on Privy, I mean, it just goes so quick, you know, and there's just so many people lining up if it is a deal. If it's not a deal, I mean, we've been trying to work with wholesalers, but there's just like a lot of daisy chaining going on. So by the time it gets to us, it's just not a deal. So I guess my question is that just representative of the market that I'm in? Because I've heard that where I'm at is pretty saturated, or is that kind of just the deal all across the nation? That's really the first question.
Yeah, good question. So my opinion on Miami is it is one of the most inflated markets in the country. If you look at statistics on Miami, it seems like they're headed for a serious 2008 event type crash. There's a guy, I always shout this guy out to. He doesn't even know who I am. I'm going to just post it in chat. His Instagram, he's got YouTube, he's got TikTok, is Reventure Capital, I think is his name. He's a genius. He does a ton about market research, is constantly looking at not only real estate, but, you know, like the car market, all of that stuff. And he talks a lot about Miami. Prices are so overinflated. I know in Florida, they just passed some law or maybe proposed a bill about immigrants. This was big in the news a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if it ever passed or what the case was, but they were going to start making sure any workers were documented. They weren't going to have undocumented workers. So you saw a huge influx of people move out of Florida to these other states. So I would say, man, your first fix and flip in Miami, like unless you find a good one in a good area and you're buying it at 40 cents on the dollar, so you're after repair value and you're buying it for 40 cents of that, I personally wouldn't look at a fix and flip. Across the country, there are tons, hundreds, maybe thousands of investors losing their shorts on fix and flips. Also, interest rates were just raised a couple of days ago. So you're going to see home prices come down again. It's just not a good economy right now for fix and flips. So all that being said, I don't want to push you away from it. There's still tons of people being successful at doing the fix and flip, but you just have to make sure you know your numbers, you have relationships with contractors, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I guess the follow-up was, is it possible as a sort of advantage, a creative advantage, is it possible to do a creative deal for a flip? And what would that look like?
Yeah, 100%. So Pace has tons of videos about this. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. One is called a novation agreement. So I would write that down. Pace probably isn't the best guru on novations, but there's tons of people that talk a lot about novation agreements. Essentially, you're partnering with the seller to flip their property. So you're not buying it. You're essentially putting a lien on it and letting them know, hey, I'll give you your price, but I'm going to renovate it and bring it to the market, and then we'll see what it sells for, and then we'll split it there. A lot more in depth than how I just explained it, but yeah, look into novation agreements. Also, for example, if a seller is willing to be your hard money lender, right? So maybe you don't have to get a hard money loan to buy the property. They just float it, they be the bank on it. Then you get your construction loan, get your crews, renovate it. Once it's done, then you sell it, pay your seller off, and then make your profit that way. So for sure, you can definitely get creative as a fix and flip investor.
Got it. But nothing like, I wouldn't want to do like a sub 2 deal to flip. That's more for long term.
You could, right? So let's say you have a home that after it's fixed up is worth 500,000. You need to pick it up for maybe 250,000. And let's say they have a loan right at 250. You could take over their loan subject to renovate it, and then bring it to the market for 500,000, pay that loan off, get your profit. And yeah, so you could, it's going to be fewer and far between, but definitely possible.
Cool. I appreciate that, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Abraham. Good questions, man. For sure. Join our Facebook too. If you have a deal you're looking at, you need some guidance, or you just have a question if it's a good deal or not, post it in there, and either me or someone in there will be able to point you in the right direction. So
sweet. Yeah, I just joined. Yeah, you'll see me in there.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Abraham. John, what do you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I was just talking with Angie. You guys got a little packet that I put together. Ingrid looked it over. I got a VA loan they're willing to subject to. There was an agent involved, but the sellers came to me because they know me, know that I'm a real estate investor, and it's looking like they're going to have to pay about $20,000 out of pocket just because they took this loan out last year. It's a 5.25%. I just want to see if I can help them out. It doesn't cash flow as a long-term rental. Midterm, yeah, there's some good returns on that. So I don't know. Did you want to look over the numbers, see if there is anything there?
We can look at it. Yeah, if you want to share it, totally, we can take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to type it in the chat, that'd be best.
I also have it up on my screen if you want me to share.
Shoot, I don't know if we can do that. Can you? Yeah, I think it would be best if I could do it, because I could pull it up on PropStream, Privy, go through all of it really quick. You down? Okay, there it is. Okay. And yeah, that's new to me. I guess we shouldn't say addresses. Okay, so here we go. In the Springs, nice.
Yeah. So they
Okay.
wanted 530 originally, and now they're at 505. Their outstanding mortgage is 495 at 5.25%.
Okay. Yep. They're definitely in, they're a perfect candidate for subject to. It is tough. Their interest rate is tough. I'm sure it's a fixed rate VA, you said, right?
Correct.
What's their plan after they sell? Do they want to buy something? Do they want to move out of the country?
So they're going to be moving to Florida. The husband came down on orders to move there for 3 to 4 years. At the 3-year mark, they're going to want to see it refinanced out. They're willing to hold it for
Okay.
4, ideally 3.
Okay. Okay. So, very, very tight on this one. We may have a buyer for it, but yeah, very, very tight numbers. I mean, it is a big home, 5-bed, 4-bath. So first thing I do is take a look at my location, right? So you already vetted, it's not going to cash flow as a long-term rental. You're most likely right. To be honest, John, that might be their best case scenario, is just rent it out, lose a little bit of money, let that tenant pay the loan down, hope it goes up in value, and then sell it in that 3 to 4 years. That might be the advice you should give them, to be honest. But let's take a deeper dive into it. So I like to throw it in Google, kind of see where I'm at. So Cimarron Hills is one of the highest desired locations in Colorado Springs. I have a wrap buyer that would buy this, but if they could refinance in 4 years, I'm not sure. But possible we could put this in front of them, see if they're interested. So let's see. So I'm going to click hospitals. So look for some hospitals nearby.
Yeah, you got let's see here.
Okay, so you have Centura St. Francis Hospital.
It's about a 9-minute drive, 5 miles away, or that's 4 miles away. You have Memorial North and the Children's Hospital, 5.5 miles away.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so yeah, you are close to some hospitals. One way you can check rents as well too is Furnish Finder. This is a great way to check traveling rentals. So I could just type in Colorado Springs, Colorado, hit search map. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, Colorado Springs is definitely a huge hub for traveling nurses. So we can zoom in here closer to this hospital. They're somewhere in this area. So I'm just looking at rooms, right? So you have 5 rooms, 4 bathrooms is important. So most traveling professionals, they kind of want their own bathroom. So whether you put 5 nurses in here, I don't think that would be feasible. Maybe you can rent out 1 or 2 bedrooms just to, your normal tenants, and then rent the rest out to traveling nurses. But yeah, you're going to be anywhere from probably, I would say on average is around $1,000 per bedroom. So $1,000 per bedroom, maybe you get 3 traveling nurses in there. That's $3,000. Rent the other 2 rooms out for $800. And now you could be cash flowing. So definitely feasible. Are they willing to walk away with nothing?
Yeah. So when I pitched subject to, the wife had her concerns because she rented out a townhouse a couple of years ago, and then the tenants destroyed it, back pay, and then they were out tens of thousands of dollars in repairs. So her issue with doing subject to is if they do default and then they have to go through the entire eviction process, and then somebody ruins the house, they're going to be in the same situation. So that's why I'm looking for somebody who is a medium-term or short-term rental operator, in order to get into here, in order to prove to them that this is their business model. They wouldn't allow a house to go into such disrepair compared to somebody who just buys it at a homestead.
Exactly. Would you look to wholesale this, or would you want to be a part of it?
I'm willing to wholesale it. It depends on what the numbers look like at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, wholesaling is fine. But yeah,
Okay.
and going back to whether or not they're totally fine with losing money. Yeah, they are, because she would rather lose $20,000 now than have the debt on top of them and then get it back and it be worse at the end of it. So
Sure.
it's like really weird situation.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So would they leave the furniture? That's another question.
No, they're going to take
No,
that
they
with
need to
them.
take
Yeah.
it. Okay, okay. So for a buyer, right? Like you're going to have to furnish this entire 5-bedroom home. That could easily cost you on the cheap end 20,000, if not, upwards of 35,000. Depends, right? Like you could definitely go super cheap with it and keep it really low. But if you want high quality tenants, you're going to want to have some higher quality furniture. It's a beautiful home. $145 quarterly HOA, that's nothing. So let's maybe just look at it as from an underwriting perspective real quick. I'm not going to go too in depth. So do you know their PITI, what their total monthly payment is?
It's about 3,000.
It's about 3,000. Okay. And let's check too. So yeah, their PI is 27, taxes very cheap, insurance probably pretty cheap. So yeah, I would say all of that plus utilities, you're at least at probably like $3,500. For a big home like this, you also have to like consider when you're buying big homes like this, sometimes these big homes have 2 AC units and 2 furnaces. So if that's the case, your utility cost might be higher than average as well. I'm trying to see if I could find AC units, but either way, let's call it 3,500. So their total monthly payment, that's including utilities. If you do traveling nurses, most of the time utilities are included. So you can see utilities included. So you're paying out of pocket for those utilities. So we're going to say PITI, $3,500 a month. Plus there's an HOA. So I think 3,500 is maybe on the low end, to be honest, too. 2 water heaters as well, too. Yeah, Erica, very good point. So PITI 3,500, right? Let's say we can get 3 tenants in there for $1,000 each equals $3,000, and then you could get another 2 tenants in there for just $800 per room, so that equals 1,600. Okay, so for a total rent, there's other ways to underwrite this as well. I'm just doing it sort of the quick way. So you're looking at, what would that be, $4,600 a month. 4,600. Okay. Now when you're renting out by room, your vacancy tends to be a little bit higher. Your property management tends to be a little bit higher. Again, you're paying utilities. So renting out by room, they're going to be washing dishes and more showers, all that stuff. Your expenses tends to go up. So I would say at the minimum, you want to take off at least 20% for maintenance, management, vacancy, all that good stuff in account for repairs. So times 20%, or the quick way to do that math is just times 0.80. So 4,600 times 0.8 equals 3,680. So we don't really even have to underwrite it much more than that, right? Like you can see if someone's only bringing in 4,600, I think easily you spend $1,000 on management costs, vacancies, all that good stuff. So, for them to do this, furnish it, pay a wholesale fee and make $180 a month is probably not a good fit. That's just kind of where my mind is going. Any feedback or thought on that so far, John?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. I think it would be pretty tough for an investor to cash flow on this and then refinance in 4 years. Typically the minimum balloon we like to see is 7 years. That throughout history is, kind of makes the market settles, home prices go up, you've paid the loan down, you paid your principal down by quite a bit, so you have enough equity to safely refinance. 3 or 4 years is very short for a balloon. I just, I don't see this being a great fit. Like I said, I think their best fits, if you want to be a good friend, I would say just rent it out, stop the bleeding, like rent it out for as much as you can, pay a couple $100, maybe $1,000 a month on top. And then let that tenant pay the loan down. And then in 3 to 4 years, they relist it, and hopefully they'll have enough equity to actually make money from the sale.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably their best scenario, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, we
Yeah.
also, oh, I'm sorry. No, but yeah, there's also like house hacking
Yep.
groups that are in the Springs. There's probably up in Denver as well. Everywhere, frankly. So
Yeah.
no, that's a
Absolutely.
good one. Take the hit. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I like house hacking too. I mean, I'm house hacking right now. That could definitely be a good fit. Someone that wants to live there, rent the rooms out, make a little bit of money on the side. Just the balloon is so tough. You need to extend that balloon, I think so. Sweet. Thanks, John. Erica, how are you doing?
Awesome. Let me get off mute here. Yeah, I have a question. If you're willing to look at a deal that I got, I'd love to run it
Please.
past.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it.
Okay. You want the address?
Yeah, if you could type it in the chat.
I'll put it in the chat. This one's in good old Aurora.
Nice.
Uh,
Brandon Lee says, what about pad split? Yeah, I mean, that could work, but now you're talking about changing the layout of the home.
yeah.
Plus that 3 to 4 year balloon. The balloon's really the tough thing. That just limits so many of your exit strategies. Your best one would be a wrap, but you need at least at least a 7-year balloon, probably 10. So
I agree with you on that,
okay,
Dylan.
so,
Just for awareness,
yeah.
it really isn't popular in Colorado Springs, so it's not even something that people are aware of yet.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, yeah, you're talking a ton of money to change the layout of the home, add extra bedrooms. So yeah, probably wouldn't be your best bet. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. And you're fine if we share this in front of everyone, Erica?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I think we're all
Okay.
friends here and we're respectful, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this one
Okay.
was brought to us by a wholesaler. So
Okay.
it's not for sale right now, but it's off market and they need to exit it. I don't believe that there's money in the LTR. We kind of ruled that out already because the HOA is $320 a month.
Okay.
So we were thinking of wrapping it, but
Yeah.
sure, if this is one concerns that Aurora is even a good wrap area. And because it's a pretty high end part of town, at least from what I know, but I'm not familiar. And then,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. So Aurora, tends to be I would say it depends on what area, right? But Aurora could be your lower income, right? Maybe more Hispanic type of community. So it could be a good fit, but yeah, if this is in a higher end, so definitely a unique one here too. Where are we at? Is that this one here?
I don't think so.
Back out. I think maybe we're South Sable.
Oh, it might be. It looks like it is.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is.
Yeah. That is. So always that's my first thing. Anytime I'm looking at a property, I'll throw it on Google, look at the neighborhood, kind of get a feel for what's going on. So seems like a quaint little community, but yeah, a lot of different multifamily, like these all look like fourplexes
They're
and
all fourplexes, yeah.
threeplexes. Yeah. So, but they're individually parceled. So that's good. I think wrap is always a good exit strategy. If you can pick it up for less than 8.5% of the total purchase price, it doesn't need much work. And the reason I say 8.5%, 8%, like you want to pick it up under 10, because when you go to sell it, you're most likely only going to get an 8 to 12% down payment on average. So if you get it at 8, right, you sit on it for a couple of months, holding costs, now you're at 10%, you can recoup the majority of your money from that person's down payment.
Mhm.
So many people are afraid to, for whatever reason, leave money into a wrap deal, which doesn't make sense, right? Like we bought a property in Pueblo, we left a small amount, only $5,000 or so, but it cash flows $700 a month.
Okay.
It will make our money back in the first year. So if you leave a little bit of money into it, if you have a 30-year note, you'll make your money back and then some. So yeah, I think this could be a good deal. Make sure your entry is, let's see, is there a Zestimate 386? You know, like approximately what this thing's worth?
I can give you the details of what they want.
Yeah, please.
So they're asking 365.
Okay.
The down payment with assignment is 37K. And it looks like it'll
Okay.
be seller finance. So they're saying 1,800 a month approximately to the seller with an HOA of 320. But if we're going to wrap it, it doesn't matter about the HOA. And they're saying our term is 25 years.
Right. 25 years. Okay. Is there a balloon at that 25 years or is it amortized? It's got to be amortized.
Got to be amortized.
Yeah, that would make no sense. Okay, so what was your PITI again?
1,800.
1,800 plus the HOA, right?
Well, HOA would be paid if it's a wrap, right, by the buyer.
Right, but you still want to figure that in, like what's
Okay.
what's your total payment? So do you know what is the amount of it?
320 a month.
320. Yeah. So yeah, you definitely want to still figure that in, because when you're talking to someone, a wrap buyers are so not educated on real estate. So when you're like, yeah, your PITI is this plus your HOA, and they're like, what's PITI? What's HOA? I have no idea. So just tell them, your total monthly payment, this includes everything besides utilities, is $2,120.
Yep.
So just as clear and simple as possible. So, and then what's the interest rate?
I didn't get that. So
Okay, maybe we can figure it out. So your purchase price was 365. That 37 probably includes the wholesaler's fee.
it does.
37. I usually shoot for 15, 20K on my assignment fees. So
Mhm.
maybe, yeah. So you definitely want to know that, right? Like, okay, what's the balance of my loan? If the purchase price is 365, but not 37, not all 37 of that comes out of there. Yep.
Okay.
So know what your balance is on your loan. That's super important as well. You need to know that, because when you go to wrap it, your loan has to be equal or greater than the underlying loan. You can't wrap it with a loan balance less than the one that you have on it. So you need to know your loan balance. Yeah, it'd be tough for us to figure out what it is, but it sounds like a low interest rate is
Yeah.
what I'm feeling. So yeah, got to know your interest rate too, right? Because then we know how much higher we can go. If it's at 6%, it's going to be a slim pickings for you to just increase it to 7 or 8%. I think, the majority of deals we wrap at are at 6.5% interest.
Okay.
We're not the best wrappers. I know there's other people that wrap deals. The cheaper the price of the home, the higher the interest rate you can get. So it's likely you could get 8%, but when you tell someone, hey, that's a 6.5% interest rate, it's affordable, So that's what I shoot for. Obviously, we shoot for higher, but 6.5 seems to kind of be the sweet spot where we sell a lot of wraps at. And then, your 37K entry, I would bet that wholesaler would negotiate, maybe take 5K off.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have closing costs and then holding costs on top of this. So you're going to pay 2,120 times, expect for it to sit for 3 to 4 months. So
Okay.
another $6,000 to $8,000 on top of your down payment, your entry fee plus closing costs. So
I'm pinging Jason while we're talking. He said the wholesaler fee is 10K out of that down payment.
Okay, perfect. So 365 minus 27. Okay, so your loan then is 338,000, 30 years. Let's see, maybe it's 3% interest.
Dylan,
14,
and CropStream, it has it at 3.09%.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Whoever found that.
Okay. So yeah, this I remember seeing that too. It does look like a subject to.
Yeah, it's a subject too.
Oh, it is. Okay. So yeah, you have a very low interest rate. That makes sense. So let's see, taxes, middle of the range. So yeah, you want to make sure you know, okay. Where is my screen at? So okay, so purchase price, great, right? Let me show you guys how we market our deals. So I will go to actually, here's one right now. Here's a deal we have for sale in Amanda or in Land O'Lakes, Florida, right? So I have pictures plus the mortgage statement. I also have HOA docs so you can see what the rental restrictions are. 3-bed, 2-bath, yada yada. Your time to close. Purchase price. Now this includes my wholesale fee. So this includes my wholesale fee, agent's commission, down payment to seller. We used to market them differently, but now I include all of the fees. So that way they know, okay, all in your purchase price is 408, but the subject to mortgage is 373,000, 3.875 FHA loan. This actually is a VA loan, 29 years remaining. Here's your PITI plus your HOA fee, paid monthly actually. Here's your exit strategies. Wrap this at 8% interest. Entry fee has room for holding costs, right? So your ARV is 410, probably higher actually, probably closer to 420, but your entry fee is 8.5%. So this lets you sit on it and have a couple of months of closing costs up to that 10%. You know, there's some major hospitals 40 minutes away. So you really need to know, okay, what's my ARV? And that's just important for you to know when you go to sell this, because you can sell it for above the ARV to a wrap buyer. So
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, because it looks like well, we're not going to improve it, but the ARV is already at like 475, or sorry, I think you had it up there before. It was like 385.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. And so
There
there's
you
already
go.
money in the deal. So then it would be, what do you mark it up after that, to kind of get it to sell? As you can see, they've got
Exactly.
the junk in there.
Yeah. And that's perfect. It's so amazing when you are trying to wrap a property and the Zestimate is higher than, what you want it, because you could sell it for 386 and these people are going to look at Zillow and say, oh, okay, yeah, it's worth 386. Zillow said so. Zillow's right. We know that's not right, but so that's great. I mean, that's another benefit to this too, Erica, is like you're going to build in some equity. So if you can sell it for maybe 400, you're going to build yourself some equity. So when they ever refinance or sell it, you'll have some built-in equity as another lien position. So it's not a bad deal. I think the interest rate's great. I think the location's good. Always good to have some backups too. So like, let's see what this area rents for. It's a 3.3. Have you looked into
2,500 a month, but it's
2,500? Okay.
It doesn't make enough on the long-term rental to make it worthwhile. I think after you do your war chest and everything, it's like $70 a month.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but at least right? Like, even if you lose money on it, it's a great purchase price, because it's basically Denver, and you're getting it for the 300s, right? It's not going to go down. We're guessing. It's most likely only going to go up. So even if you sit on it for 5 years, you make nothing on it, but you've built a ton of appreciation, save some money on taxes by depreciating it. So having at least that backup strategy, I think is also a good play. So I don't hate the deal. I'd get some more information though. Know what your balance is, know your interest rate, see a mortgage statement. That's really important, and see their contract too. Make sure you get their contract. So
yeah, I mean, that's what we were just saying, is it interesting enough to keep pursuing, and then we'd almost want to JV with somebody on this one to help us walk it over the line from the prospect. We haven't done a wrap before, and I think that's the preferred exit strategy on this one.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I would say good location. Yeah, maybe fine. Like, so would you guys be sort of just like the funding partners and let someone else market it for you? Is that kind of the idea, or just get that tenant in there or get that buyer in there?
Don't know yet. Need to figure that out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
We might need some help with some funding, partial funding. I think we can make
Okay.
most of it, but we need
Yeah.
a little bit of the funding.
Yeah. And wraps are great to get Gator lenders on because, as long as you're not borrowing the total amount, if you need to just borrow 15,000, once your buyer brings that down payment,
Yeah.
you could pay that Gator lender off, give them a couple of $1,000s as their profit. They're on their way. You leave some money into it. So, yeah, I think I don't hate it. I would say it's a pretty average deal. You
Yeah.
might find some better ones, but the location's great. We rarely come across subject to deals in the metro area. Like it's impossible to find low equity sellers in the metro area that are willing to do this. So that's probably the only thing that's selling me on it is the location. It's just it's Denver metro, so.
Yeah, that's why I've been on the fence with it. Because when I looked at it, I couldn't really tell. So you kind of gave me a couple of the other things to look at. And then I'm kind of iffy about this area too. So I'm like, meh. It's
Yeah.
it's an okay deal, but it's not a knock my socks off deal. It has potential.
Mhm. It has potential. And too, with like some insight on JVing, I would say, yeah, you guys could be, like source the funding. So you provide some of it, source the Gator for the other, and then your JV partner is like your master marketer. They have relationships with lenders and agents, and
Yep.
they know the Facebook ads, right? They're the ones that get that buyer in there. And
So
yeah, make
we're-
sure you guys have a good transaction coordinator, all that good stuff.
Well, Jason's now transaction coordinator, so that's good.
There you go. Sweet.
And he's already having
Dylan,
with somebody
Dylan, meet Erica. Erica, meet Dylan.
Thank you, Stevie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be interested in this one. For sure. Like if you wanted to JV, Angie's
Yeah.
a broker in this area, so I'm sure
Yep.
we could help find some buyers for it. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm middle of the road. Like it's nice to have something in Denver. I think it would be easier to find a buyer.
Yeah.
Rather than, like Colorado Spring, like the wraps we've done have been in Fountain, Colorado, Pueblo, Colorado.
Which makes sense because that community would support it. Totally understand that.
Yeah.
Which is why I wasn't too sure about Aurora. I was like, is it even a good wrap area?
I want to say, I think so. Also, look at this. You're close to one of the largest hospitals in our state too. So maybe traveling nurse, if the HOA allows it, they might not, but yeah. I'm right there with you. I could go either way. I'm not too sure about it.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll get some more information and I can share back. Jason's having a conversation with somebody else in sub 2 right now that is interested in finding us a buyer and said he could help it that way. But
okay, there you go. Yeah, I know there's definitely a lot of Colorado sub 2 students that would definitely want to JV with you guys as well to help find buyers, whatever the case may be. So
awesome. Thanks for
Sweet.
walking that.
Yeah, of course. All right, Trevor, what do you got for us, man?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good, man. Good.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys for everything that you guys do. I really appreciate it. I had a couple contract questions actually. With like the JV agreement,
Okay.
when you're asking about the payment expense and the profit, do you as the wholesaler ever pay expenses? And then I guess the other question would be with the profit, it's in a percentage instead of a dollar amount. So do y'all normally do the percentage or how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, good question, man. I'll actually pull it up. I'm guessing you're talking about the America Home JV offers. Are you a sub 2 student, Trevor?
I'm actually not a sub 2 student yet. My goal was to get something under contract and use that, but
Nice.
I actually did get something under contract this weekend. It
Let's
wasn't
go.
a creative deal. It was actually a cash deal, but to be completely honest, probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't meet pace or connect with you guys. So I appreciate it.
Let's go, dude. That's huge, man. I appreciate that. That makes me happy, man. I'm gonna tear up here. Let's go, dude.
You too.
Good luck on that. Hopefully, yeah, you too. Yeah. Hopefully that closes, man. We wish the best for you. So,
Yeah,
a
that's the goal.
JV agreement can literally be a blank, like you could write it on a napkin and say, hey, party A gets this, party B gets this. So it doesn't need to be super official. It doesn't need to be notarized. This is sort of what we use. Sometimes we revise it. It just really depends, but this is the one that we get from Pace. I think we can share this. It's JV agreements are nothing too special. So, there is this verbiage, right? Purpose of joint venture, expenses, profit. This more has to do when you are buying a property with someone, you're going to rent it, you're going to flip it, you're going to hold it together. But when you're wholesaling, you really just need a very basic JV agreement. So all we fill out when we JV on a wholesale is just profit shall be allocated as follows. Party A will receive, if we're doing a percentage, sometimes we do where it's like 70-30, 50-50, whatever. Or if it's just a dollar amount, right? Like, hey, they sent us the lead. We're just going to pay them $1,000. You can just put, you can skip this and put and or $1,000, and then we get the rest, whatever that is. So additional terms and conditions. Yeah, it could just be even a blank document. So like go to Doc Hub. I think just like we have an addendum as well too. So I'll pull this up. This is an addendum too. If any of you guys are new to real estate, if you've heard of an addendum is just a change in the contract, and it's literally as simple as this. This is addendum number 2. It's an agreement between buyer and seller, dated this, regarding property address as follows. 1, purchase price changed or whatever. So it could literally just be, you could change this to JV agreement. This is a JV agreement between party A, party B, dated blank, regarding this property. Profit shall be allocated as follows. Party A receives this amount. Party B receives this amount. So could be super simple, especially for wholesale. It doesn't need to be too involved.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I actually brought the buyer to this one.
Okay.
And it was someone in the local community that had the property off market. And I just wanted to make sure that I was protected. So that was the first thing that I sent to her before we went out and viewed the property with my investor. And
There you go.
so with the wholesale contract, that was my last question was, do y'all, the APN, is that necessary to put in there? Do y'all put that in there after the property address every time for like wholesale deals or?
Yeah, so we do, but that's because it's pretty much it's listed on PropStream almost all the time. It's listed right here. So there's your APN, and then it's listed again, usually in the property details right here. So it's listed twice. But if you don't know it, you don't have it, you can just have let title know. They'll fill it in for you. Same thing with the legal description. Some contracts ask for the legal description. So if you don't have it, just let title know, hey, couldn't find it. Or if you guys could just put it on the contract, that'd be great. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I appreciate it, man. Honestly, this is been learning a lot from you guys, and really appreciate the team. So
let's go, dude. I'm stoked for you, man. Life-changing stuff happening for you, dude. Like, I'm sure you probably might still have a W-2 job, right? I don't know how long you've been into real estate, but once you get that first contract, right? Like, it's so exciting. It feels like your life's changing, right? You're finally in the right direction of being financially free. So I'm excited for you, Trevor. Congrats, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, let's go, bro. Great. Let me check chat real quick. I'm going to give you guys a little insight. It's always been a dream of mine to be a video game streamer. Fortunately, I've never been good enough to do it, or I just didn't start early enough. So you guys are letting me live my dream by doing this. At least I get to talk to chat. It's super cool. That's just something nerdy about me that you guys now know. So let me CC, before I get to you, let me just make sure I'm not missing anyone. Mike says, new big question, how do you get all these contracts signed if out of the area? LOI, JV, yeah, DocuSign. Yeah, you will probably need some sort of DocuSign account. There's several There's DocuSign, PandaDoc. We use Doc Hub, which is, I would say, the best. You can just use the free version and edit PDFs. You can edit 5 PDFs a day on Doc Hub. The pro version is how you fill out signatures. So yeah, Mike, you're gonna want to need one of those, or maybe have a JV partner that has one of them. Hint, hint, just another idea. Tara says, do you help with wholesale deals too? The majority of what we do, Tara, is wholesale. We wholesale, I would say 90% of the properties, or the deals that come through our desk. We tend to keep some of them, but the majority of deals we just wholesale. So yeah, that's what we do. We've done cash. We've done a few cash deals, nothing crazy. We prefer sub 2 deals, but if the deal makes sense, where it's like, okay, for sure, you know, whether we know a buyer or not, and we're confident that we can find one, we'll do cash as well too. So, okay. I think that's it. Cece Hampton, what do you got for us? Oh, let me unmute you. There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking to these people, and they are my niece and my nephew. They went to a real estate agent, and so the house has already been listed, but when I had the conversation with them, they realized that they may be leaving some money on the table, and so they're open to subject to. And so the house, they owe $252 on it.
Okay.
They have it on the market for $300. I've explained to them, or going to have further conversation, that with the real estate fees, they're probably only going to be looking at walking away with, $25,000 to $28,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thought was to, get them that additional $20K and possibly wrap that in, so that they, don't lose that, and, propose it where that additional $20K, they maybe charge a little bit higher interest rate. Like I said, their interest rate is 3.75. So I'm just trying to figure out a creative way for them to not sell it. And I think they've got an excellent interest rate. The payment's somewhere around $1,600 per month.
Okay.
And it's an acute up and coming community in Clover, South Carolina.
Okay. Love it. South Carolina. Yeah. So you're 100% right. 300,000. If you just take 8% off of that, right? So usually 6% to the agents, a couple of more percentage points to closing costs. You're right. I see them walking away with right around 24, give or take. So 20 to 28,000, somewhere in that range. Which is not a bad payday, right? That probably gives them enough money to go ahead and put down on their next home.
Which they're not. That's
Okay.
why I think subject to, because they are planning on staying with family for the next couple of years,
Okay.
and not buying anything right away.
Okay.
So I think, there's no talk of doing a balloon, because
Yeah.
I've explained to them, I'm a mortgage loan officer. I've explained to them how we can get the underwriter not to see that, to have that debt wiped away after a
There you
period of time. So,
Love it.
just
Are they
if it was
veterans?
no, this is a USDA loan.
Okay, even better. Is it USDA? Is it rural, or is it
Yes.
It is? Okay, so that might be the hiccup. Okay, so let me explain my thought process. So I don't think you're going to get an investor to pay them all of that equity in cash. Most investors want deals, right? So they want to get into the home for as little money as possible. If you've been in this Zoom since the start, right? Most of the deals we wholesale or that we buy, we're into them for tops 10%. So if they're selling for 300,000, maybe the most they could get is 30,000. That's if there's no agent involved, no wholesaler involved, none of that. So I don't think they get all 48,000 of their equity. The only way I see that happening is maybe if they wrap it. which is a very good strategy, especially if they own the loan, is to wrap it. Are you familiar with wraparounds, CC?
Yeah. Well, I keep hearing it thrown out. Let me make sure if you'll explain it, so I make sure I'm understanding in the sense that you're using it.
Yeah. There's no simple way to explain it. A real estate attorney couldn't explain it simply. The reason it's called a wrap is it's a very on the nose term, right? So I like to compare it to if I gave you a crock pot for your birthday, maybe you never used it, you rewrapped it and gave it to someone else for their birthday. So that's kind of what's going on. So let's take their $250,000 loan at 3.5%, whatever it was. They would then sell their home for probably more than 300. They could sell it for 320, 330. A buyer would bring, let's say, hopefully, again, 30% or sorry, a 30,000, maybe more, $30,000, $40,000 down payment. That would all go to them. That would be total profit in their pocket, $30,000. Now, they're not just going to let that person take over their low interest rate. They're going to create a new seller finance note at, let's say, 6, 7, 8% interest and wrap it around that existing loan. So not only is their payment, the new buyer's payment, a portion of it's going to their loan, but the rest of it is going to your sellers as the bank of whatever their names are. So that you're essentially increasing the interest rate is what wrapping is. So
Okay.
Yeah. That would be a way they get their money, and they also cash flow as well.
Okay.
Yep. But it being a rural property, it's going to be tougher to find a buyer.
You want to see? No, you want to see it. It's not, well, don't think rural. It's just because of the area. Do you want to see it?
Sure. I'd love to. Yeah.
It is 214 Price Street, Clover, South Carolina. And I also was thinking about buying it myself and, renting the rooms out. But I don't think
Okay,
it's
so
very
you're close to
close
Charlotte.
to.
Yeah. So still a smaller town. I mean, you are close to Charlotte. I don't know too much about South Carolina. Just getting a feel for it. Is this it right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely cute home for sure. So yeah, I mean, it is likely they could find a buyer for it. Yeah, maybe just let them know what their different options are. If they want smooth and easy, an agent's probably their best bet. But if they want to really capitalize and make the most money, I would say selling this not to an investor, selling it to a homestead buyer that can't qualify. And two, I'll go into, I guess, your ideal client for a wrap is what PACE calls, we call them penalty box buyers. So we already spoke about it, but they're just people that for one reason or another, a bank won't finance them. So they might have a down payment. You're a loan officer, right? There's so many reasons why banks deny people, but they might be financeable otherwise. So that's who we look for. I mean, you would be the perfect person. I'm sure. Have you denied anyone recently that's looking for a home in South Carolina?
Yeah.
There you go. Say, hey, I have a perfect opportunity where you can get into a home. All you need is a 10% down payment. If you can afford let's say $2,500 a month payment, it's yours. So, when we go to market for wrap buyers, you're the first type of person I call. And I'm like, hey, who have you denied recently? I'd love to revive some of your dead leads and pay you marketing expenses. I know we can't pay you referral fees, but we'll get you paid somehow. So,
yeah. Think you could have a buyer for it?
Well, I don't have a wrap buyer in South Carolina. We've been marketing in North and South Carolina and Georgia since the dawn of time, but it's so saturated. Agents are I would say agents are closed off to a lot of investors in those areas for whatever reason.
They are.
Yeah. So your laws are a little bit different, attorney state. So I don't have a ton of wrap buyers, but yeah, if you've denied anyone for a loan recently, CC, hit them up. Say, hey, I got a home that you might be able to get into.
All right. And then how do I get myself paid on it?
There you go. I love it. you could get a portion of the cash flow. You could get a portion of their down payment. There's so many different ways. You
Okay.
could build in equity, right? So they owe 252. You could sell it for 320 and their new loan. So they owe 252, call that here. You could give them a loan for 280 and just build in a little cushion of $30,000, give them a balloon payment at 10 years, right? So now not only do you have $30,000 cushion, but their interest rate here is 3%. Their interest rate here is 6, 7, 8. So they're going to be paying down the principal on this loan a lot quicker. So that 30K will build into 40, 50, 60K. So you could set a cushion for yourself for a large payment down the road. You can collect some cash flow from it. Say, hey, I'll structure all this from you. I'll help set up the servicing. I just want to make $200 a month. If they can make $1,000 a month out of that, they pay you too. That's a sweet deal. Or if they're cool with making 25, 30K, if you can get someone to bring 35, 40K, you make that difference. So many
Okay.
different ways. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Love it. I love the way your brains work. You don't see too many RMLOs. It's funny. I would have a really good relationship with an RMLO here in Colorado, and he is always talking crap about sub 2 students and sub 2 deals. He's like, you're just riding the coattails of these, hardworking veterans loans, and he's nice about it, but I know he's a little salty, because we don't really get too many loans. So,
The other have you guys done anything with Red Door or Open Door? I'm so sorry.
I have not, but Angie and Dom have sold some of their clients' homes to Red Door or Open Door. I said the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I found when I'm talking to the agent, I'm trying to get it negotiated down from what they have it listed at. So I'll let you guys
There you
know.
go. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so many wholesalers sell deals to Open Door, all those big companies, especially if you're direct to seller. Sometimes those people just have no clue that, hey, there's this huge company that will overpay for your home. Same thing with hedge funds. A lot of wholesalers sell deals to hedge funds as well. So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
sweet. Thanks, CC. Good luck. Mr. Sean Baxter, what do you got for us, brother?
What up?
What's up, man?
Hey, I was talking to a guy that has a duplex for sale that he's trying to sell eventually. It is an FHA mortgage, but he wants to move and use his FHA mortgage again. And if he does that, I have to refinance the original one out so he has spot for that FHA mortgage again, correct?
That would be a CC question, I think. I know there's ways around it. It's not always the case. That is in most times the case. I just dealt with this the other day. There's different things you can do to get a new VA loan once you've used it or once you have one in place.
FHA.
Yeah, excuse me, FHA. I know there's ways around it. I don't know if CC's still in here, maybe she left, but yeah, an RMLO would be probably the best person. Yeah, she might have took off. She might have had to go somewhere. But yeah, a lender will be able to answer that question, or a real estate agent. I don't know if Angie is listening right now. She might be on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, because their FHA mortgage is 2.3%.
Oh, dude. Yeah. You want that, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, because plus talking to him, he knows his price is high because he's not moving till the end of the year. I'm like, the price doesn't matter. I just want that rate.
Mhm.
Plus, he'll owner finance like $100,000 seller finance for like 5 years and take payments.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
But
it.
his biggest worry is being able to get another FHA mortgage. So
yeah. How soon does he want to buy again?
He says when he moves out of the state, he wants to buy something. So I'm down in Georgia. He's going from Wisconsin to Georgia. So I'm like, well, let's see if we can just find you a sub-2 mortgage and take it over.
Yep.
So
Maybe he wants to move to South Carolina. Susan says, yes, you can get another FHA. There are a few instances that you can. Yeah. So I know there's loopholes or
there's 4 exceptions to the rule
Stevie knows
for FHA. So if there's a 100-mile rule that they have to move 100 miles away, but if they are moving within the 100 miles, they can do it's for relocation purposes, like for a job or something. Okay. Or if they're increasing their family size, I would say getting a dog would probably fall in that line.
He's getting married. He's getting
okay,
married.
All right. He's increasing his family size.
And it's more than 100. Yeah.
Okay,
And I almost said, well, why don't you put an FHA in her name before you get married?
Yeah, well, he could get it in his name, right? Because he is increasing his family, so he can get that. Yes. Or if he's vacating a joint owned property, all right, that's a third one. Or if it's a non-occupying co-borrower. So that's the fourth one. So there is 4 exceptions to that 100-mile rule.
Okay, so the non-occupied borrower,
that wouldn't fall on him. That means if he didn't live there, maybe his daughter lived there or something. Great. I knew we had talked about this. I thought it was used too, Stevie, but yeah, I knew we had talked about it. So he is moving over 100 miles away.
Yep.
All you need to do, Sean, is find a licensed loan broker originator in Georgia. I got one for you. Her name is Kwanyata. And have him submit an application and see what it would look like to get another FHA loan if he turned this one into a rental. So that's the key is you can tell the lender that, hey, I'm buying this, but in the underwriter's eyes, it needs to, we're telling them, hey, he's going to keep it as a rental. So exactly.
I could always close on it. It's a rental. He's already moved out of it.
Yeah.
So he's already got 2 renters in there. So maybe I'll have to close on it after he buys his other place then.
Yep. So yeah, connect with a lender that's licensed in Georgia, preferably a sub-2 student that knows what they're talking about and the departing residents. Yep. They'll be able to help you 100%.
Okay. That's what I needed. Thanks.
Sweet. Thanks, Sean. Good luck, man.
See ya.
All right. Last question I'm going to take here is Miss Rez Estevez. I'm so bad. Did I say that? Good.
Done.
Did I butcher your name or how do you pronounce it?
You did great. You get a little chocolate bar.
Okay.
Okay. Now here's the story. I'll be concise because I know we're coming to the end. So I have a seller who's got this property, very nice one. She is a real estate agent. She's not doing so great for herself. And the market is really softening in where I am. Okay. So she listed, I'm going to check online, but I'm sorry.
I think someone might be unmuted. Let me stop share here. Oh, okay. I think we're good now, Rez.
Okay. So she dropped the price of the property. She says it's appraised at $915. She posted it at $884 and she dropped it to $874, all within like 2-3 weeks. So I'm really interested in this signal. When I spoke with her, she said that one of the things that was making her worried is the concern that she will not be able to qualify for other loans down the line because she wants to be a real estate investor, right? I got it. So I'm a starting person at this, and I was telling her about ways of protecting the seller and to try to shield a sub-2 deal from affecting a DTI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could you please go a little bit into that in a sub-2 deal, how to protect seller so that seller can have the availment of qualifying for more loans downstream? And in advance, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. This is probably one of the most, you're going to get a ton of objections with sub-2. This is by far the most valid and frequent objection you're going to get. Now there is a difference. There's, with VA loans, as far as debt to income concerned, they're all the same. But when you're talking about qualifying for a new loan, VA is different because they only have a certain amount of entitlement, but it doesn't seem
To
like it is.
understand, there are no VA loans or anything
Okay.
like this. Just trad 80-20, go to the bank and get hosed on the interest rate.
Okay. Sweet. So, this is sort of goes back to Sean's deal here. So what they can do is called a departing residence. There's two terms for this. They mean the same thing. Departing residence is the more popular phrase in the lender world. The other term is called primary conversion, which I think makes more sense because they're converting their primary into a rental, or they're departing their primary resident.
They have
and turning
already
into a
moved
rental.
out, their primary home moved down the street, yada, yada.
Okay. So have they already closed on their new home? Okay,
Correct.
beautiful.
They're just drowning in expenses they didn't expect. What was the other term? Primary departure, you said?
So no, there's primary conversion and departing residence. Those are the two phrases.
Conversion. And the primary conversion is the term in what ambit, in what field?
Yeah, they both mean the same thing.
So these are both lender terms.
Both lender terms, yeah. Departing residence is the more popular one. So that's the one you want to use. I just told you primary conversion because it's the same thing, but it just makes more sense when you say it.
So how do they work? Let's make believe the seller wants to qualify for a loan downstream because she wants to invest because she figured out her money situation. So how do we protect her?
Yep. So, and I love this. I could tell you're very thorough, Rez. So I appreciate that. I am too. So, I love it. So what they would need to do is if they wanted to go and buy their next home, let's say, right? It's already good. They're in their next home. They already qualify. Their income is probably pretty great if they have two loans that they're paying for.
Yeah, but they can't float a third, right?
They can't
And
float a
that's why
third.
they're asking.
Sure. So what they can do to knock that old one off of their debt to income, or at least 75% of it, is by renting that property out, right? So if they show a lender or the lender shows the underwriter a signed 12-month lease agreement, that's as long as it needs to be. It doesn't need to be longer. It can't be shorter, but it needs to be 12 months. And that payment needs to be higher than their mortgage account or a mortgage payment every month. So whatever that monthly rental amount is, they will take 75% of it and knock it off of their debt to income.
Now, when you say that the monthly rent on this lease that is at least a year, right? When you say that, I wonder, I'm trying to squeeze information out of her, and she's really skittish and she's afraid, and she's a young real estate agent, former dentist. She's very smart, but she's not as smart as she thinks she is. One of those.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm trying to get information out of her, and I'm trying to not out her too much. So how much more does the rental need to be monthly to be more than the mortgage? I mean, you don't want to get too cheeky where it's like $10 more.
Yeah.
But do you go like 100 more to make it credible? Like, what is defensible?
So great question. I'm going to use simpler, smaller numbers as an example. Let's say her monthly mortgage payment was $750. I know it's way more, but if it was $750, again, they're going to take whatever the rental amount is and deduct only 75% of it off of her debt to income. So you want that monthly rent to be $1,000 a month, at least.
Please repeat that fast. You want monthly rent to cover 75% of what? Of the amount she wants off her DTI?
Right. So it's not 75%. So let me see. What is that math? It's 750. No, it'd be 1,000.
That's why you picked 750.
Yeah. So you want her monthly rent to be 1.3 times higher than her mortgage.
Monthly rent, 1.3x of monthly
Yes.
pity.
Pity. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mike's got it. Yep. Mortgage times 1.33333.
And you say 1.3 because why?
So that's 75%. So again, my example where let's say her mortgage payment was 750 and the rent was 1,000, they're not going to take all 1,000 of that and deduct all of it off her debt to income. They're only going to take 75% of it, i.e. 750. So it basically nets zero. It shows that, okay, her debt to income is clear. So it needs to be at least 1.3 or higher.
Right. Now, somebody in the comments, a smart person said it's 75 for year one.
Yes.
And then after year one, thank you, person. After year one, it goes away. Correct? You don't have to worry about it.
Right. So Walter's extremely right. So let's say if you were to buy it subject to, and her plan, this is likely what her plan is. She probably, I'm just guessing, doesn't want to buy another home for at least another 12 months.
She's not buying a home to live in. She's buying investment properties. And that's why she wants it off her DTI, right? Because she's got plans.
Yep.
But this gives me like 3 different ideas to how to approach her.
Yep. So
Thank
Walter's
you.
right. After 12 months, you don't need to show them a lease agreement. You don't need to do anything. You can just prove like, hey, the mortgage is being paid by my tenants or by someone else for the past 12 months. So this is another term you probably want to write down. It's called 12 months paid by others. That's an actual term in the lender world.
Lender world, 12 months paid by other.
Yep, 12 months paid by others. I have it written up in my office too. So if you can show that, hey, someone else has been making this payment for more than 12 months, but actually here's the kicker. It needs to be their exact monthly payment. So it needs to be, again, 750, we're using that. It needs to be exactly $750. It can't be more. Can't be less too.
So be 100% mortgage payment, no more, no less.
Correct.
The mortgage or the pity?
It could be the normal monthly mortgage payment they're billed for. It could be the pity, it could be the PITI.
Yeah, because I think that of course any seller would prefer the pity, cover their nut.
Yep. Yeah, I believe it's the total PITI.
I'm loving this. Thank you everybody for their smart questions, and thank you Dylan and group.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rez. Yeah, that was a brilliant question. All right, sweet guys. Well, we are going to call it. So let me go over some reminders before you leave. Everybody stay here. It looks like we've lost a lot of our group, but shout out to you guys for staying with us. So again, Facebook group, we promoted it. It's totally free. You should be a part of it. If you're not, what are you doing? So join the Facebook group. I just dropped the link. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Angie. Again, if you're not, what are you doing? And then, yeah, if you guys have leads you want to submit, make sure you find them on the featured tab on our Facebook. We'll help you get it closed. We do wholesale, we do cash, we do a lot of stuff. And yeah, make sure you guys are tuning in next Friday. Have your phones ready. We're going to be doing some live calls. So that's all I have for you guys. Our next Zoom is Friday at noon Mountain Time. That's 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. And we hope to see you guys there. Thanks so much, guys. Peace.
Thank you.